Hello, welcome everybody. Today we are going to be going over my draft for the UNPL. Not gonna lie, I don't know what it stands for, but it's being ran by my friend, it's Danny Mac. You guys should check him out, and all other coaches that will be in the league, their links will be down below in the description. I'm excited for this draft because we have some friends in here in addition to It's Danny Mac, my friends Kyle A. And Kelly, aka Under the Radar, and Gentleman Thomas. He's in there. So definitely check out the links down below. Another important link in the description is going to be the UNPL Discord server, where you can come hang out with all of us. You can follow the Google Doc or sheet, whatever the hell it is that has all the info on it as the league progresses. So yeah, I guess that's it for the intro part, but like the draft rules are going to be kind of important too. So let me go over that real quick. So for the draft rules, you have 115 points to draft 9 to 11 Pokemon. Each coach can have up to 3 possible Terra Captains, equaling no more than 12 points per team. Coaches then will declare 3 Terra types of their choosing, and the stab types are not required. And Terra Captains can be 6 points or below, with some exceptions. So you have 3 Terra Captains, possibly up to 3 Terra Captains, and they all get 3 Terra types to choose from. So for the draft itself, I would like to thank Kyle A and Hot Honcho for giving me some ideas through the draft and sending me a sample of something which ended up being very close to what I drafted. So thank you to them. But I do want to hear from you guys as well. What do you think of the draft when it's all said and done? I want to know in those comments down below. If you think it's bad, let me know. The criticism, it builds character. It makes me better. So yeah, I won't be mad about that. Now, if you know me and how I like to draft, I like to complete a Fire Water Grass core and a Fairy Steel Dragon core, but I also try to hit all the key immunities throughout the draft to prevent my opponent from being able to sweep me with whatever that type of attack is. So for example, having a flying Pokemon to prevent me from losing to a team that just wants to spam Earthquake into me. But this applies to all immunity possibilities as well. So the fighting normal ghost, yada yada, you guys know what I'm trying to say. I also like to pack my draft with hazards and hazard removal, plenty of knockoff Pokemon, taunt users, setup sweepers, breakers, and plenty of Pokemon that have bulk to act as defensive Pokemon. I really like having Pokemon that are offensive but like can do defensive shit. So that's definitely what I tried to go for. But with that being said, my first pick is Meowscarada. And Meowscarada, it's a cool Pokemon. It kind of does it all, and it does it fast. It has Protean for stab on everything, and it can run multiple different sets. It can run hazards, spikes, T-spikes, knockoff. It can break through mons with the stab flower trick, getting them crits. It can run and set up scarf or band. This Pokemon definitely gives the opponent a lot to prep for, and it's the first time I'm using it, so I'm excited to see if I could put everything it can do to good use. And it's a cat, man. I fucking love cats. I have 4 cats, so shout out to my cats. The next Pokemon on the team is going to be Iron Treads. This Pokemon gives me a lot in one pick. It gives me a Stealth Rocker, it gives me Rapid Spin, hazard removal, another knockoff user, as well as a typing that is really great defensively and offensively. Being able to switch into poison types and electric type moves for free, as well as being a reliable answer for fairies. Iron Treads also sits at a really good speed tier, being able to outpace base 105 speed Pokemon and get the jump on physical threats with an Iron Defense boost that can be followed up with a boosted body press if it needs to, if it wants to. It can also pop the energy booster, right into its veins. Just pops it right in there, gives itself a stat boost, and it can set itself up for a sweep. I'm really excited for this Pokemon. I used it a lot, like when the game first came out. I threw it on a bunch of my teams, so I'm kind of excited to see what I could do with it in draft. Now for my third pick is Hatterene. And I've never used this Pokemon before, but I love the ability Magic Bounce, as it really deters the opponent from bringing status moves versus me. It's just a real psychological pain in the ass in prep. Hatterene is also a really hard-hitting Pokemon. I think it has like a base special attack stat of 136. So this thing can function as a Trick Room sweeper. I also love that it can be a support role. It has access to Nuzzle as well as Healing Wish. Just being able to bring back a weakened Pokemon back to full health. I'm definitely ready to put the fear in people with this thing. And so I guess that concludes Hatterene. My next Pokemon is going to be Goodra. I love this Pokemon because it's very flexible in prep. It's got some really good stat distribution, so it can be kind of tailor-made each week to be anything, do anything. Offensive, defensive. It could be a mixed attacker. You throw on an assault vest on there, and it also gets insane coverage. Like I think it gets like all the elemental, like electrics, Thunderbolt. I think it has Surf, Flamethrower, Fire Blast. I think it also has like Power Whip. I think it still gets Scald, so that's pretty cool. So insane coverage. It also gives me an immunity to grass type moves with the Sap Sipper ability, or if I want, I could even use it in a way where if I want to use it kind of with the sticky ability, it can slow down my opponent and it'll allow me to put myself in a better position for revenge killing their Pokemon. So basically the idea is you sack off Goodra to a physical hit, it drops their speed, then you bring in something to revenge them, and then you can use that turn to good use, like whether that's setting up or that kind of thing. So with Goodra, that completes my Fairy Steel Dragon core, so that's a draft victory right there. So shout out to Goodra. This mon should be a pretty good time. My fifth pick is Manaphy. Does anybody know the song where Shofu, it was some Pokemon rap where he said, "Oh, you're Manaphy"? That was a hard ass line. So if anyone knows the song that line is from, drop that down in the comments below. So Manaphy, I like this pick. According to the rules, they did not ban the move Take Heart, so that means I could heal a status condition and Calm Mind in one turn. So that's pretty cool. That makes it harder for my opponent to stop this thing with like Toxic or Prankster Thunder Waves or just regular Thunder Waves. But this thing can also Tail Glow still. That's always a thing because it's just naturally fast and bulky. And they also gave this thing momentum with Flip Turn this gen. So I'm excited to make Banded Flip Turn Manaphy work one of these weeks. And if you're excited for that, hit the subscribe button. You'll see it coming. You'll see it coming one of these weeks, I promise. Well, don't quote me on it. I don't know if it'll actually have a good matchup, but I'm going to definitely try to bring it out one of these weeks, definitely. My next mon is Moltres. It's a very classic Pokemon. It actually became really good this generation, and I feel like that's how I picture it in my mind, as like this defensive Pokemon. It can be ran defensively really well. It has access to ever since like heavy duty boots was introduced, it's just become very viable. So it could be ran defensively with the access to recovery and roost, and it spreads burns with Will-O-Wisp or its ability Flame Body. And it's really good at just winning that war of attrition. So also another thing that's great about Moltres is that well, maybe I'm biased because in my mind I think of it defensively, but people forget that it can be an offensive demon, and it has base 125 special attack, stab hurricanes, stab fire blasts, and anything that does not anything that appreciates those hits, like can kind of shrug them off, you just U-turn out for the momentum. So with this, I now have my 2 cores complete, my Fire Water Grass and my Fairy Steel Dragon core. And I have to say, so far so good. Don't forget to let me know what you're thinking of this draft down below. And now, my next Mon. I'm picking up a normal type in the Dunsparce. This Pokemon is thick and it's versatile. It can be ran offensively, defensively. It can break. It's a stealth rocker. This thing could also, it's got that sweeping potential in either Coil or Calm Mind. So it's one of those Pokemon where it's a jack of all trades, where it can basically boost and recover off with Roost. But something that's kind of unique, and it's not like super duper unique to Pokemon in general, but definitely unique to my team, is the move Glare. Getting around normally unparalyzable, not really a word, but we're going with it, the ground types. Unparalyzable ground types. It's especially cool having access to Stab Boom Burst, which, like I said before, can be boosted with Calm Mind. It has the coverage it needs to be a sweeping threat, and it can really annoy someone with the Serene Grace Headbutt Paraflinch, since Togekiss is not around this gen, so, Paraflinch represent. And this also is my Ghost immunity, so that's pretty good. I guess moving on now, we have Hitmonlee. Another classic Pokemon. Shout out to the original 151. This is a classic Pokemon. Just been doing the same shit for generations, hitting really hard. The reckless high jump kicks, busting down the walls. You just look at the calcs, and there's a small possibility you might shit yourself. And another thing that made Hitmonlee even better is Unburden. Being able to pop an Unburden with a white gem, or is it normal gem fake out, and it's the white herb that does the other thing. White herb to bring your defenses back to normal after clicking close combat. Just getting that speed increase, just being a possible threat to sweep, and then it could even potentially outspeed other Scarfers. So that's really good. It's also a really good rapid spinner here as well, just because it has access to knockoff, and ghost types that might want to switch into to block the rapid spin don't necessarily want to get hit with that knockoff, because that's going to do some damage. Base 120 attack. That's a strong Pokemon. Okay, we're gonna move on to the next pick, which is Toxtricity. It's always needed in draft to have a grounded poison type to potentially absorb toxic spikes, but that isn't all Toxtricity is good for. It's also an incredible breaker, having access to very strong sound-based moves because of its punk rock ability, acting as a life orb every time I click Overdrive or Boom Burst. As I was saying before, how this Pokemon is good for absorbing toxic spikes, this Pokemon is also great at setting up its own. As most people would probably want to switch in their ground type into this Pokemon, it often leaves openings for me to set up a free layer. I can't remember if I've used this Pokemon before, but I'm definitely interested in trying out its physical sets because it does have a decent-ish attack stat with access to shift gear. So let me know down below if you've ever tried physical Toxtricity before, and if you've had any success with it. I'll definitely be interested in hearing from you guys. So we're almost done, guys. We're almost done. So I decided to take some inspiration from Nexus with my next picks. And firstly, we have Rotom OG, the original Rotom. So probably the most important part about this pick is that it's a ghost type that blocks rapid spin for me. Gives me another Pokemon that is off the ground, so I don't have to worry about Earthquake as much. But it can also flip its typing to be offensive. With the Terra types Electric, Ice, and Steel, I can choose if I want to give myself boosted Electric Stab while having 0 weaknesses, maybe taking less damage from an incoming knockoff, or go on the offensive, being able to Nasty Plot up and Bolt Beam everything down into oblivion with Terra Ice. Steel is there just because it's a good type to have paired with Levitate. I think this will be good since it has a lot of options to build with, you know, between like Pain Split, Will-O-Wisp, Nasty Plot, Volt Switch. Good for momentum, you know, it can do a bunch of stuff. And I have a lot of like Toxic and Para options, so being able to run Rotom with Hex is really good. It's way better than just running standard Shadow Ball. And for the last Pokemon that I'm really excited about, we got Bastiodon, man. We got Bastiodon. This Pokemon with Terra seems really fun. I've seen Nexus use this with professional level precision. So I chose Terra Fighting, Ghost, and Fairy. I feel like those types can be useful for different reasons. Like the Fighting Terra type gives me Stab, Iron Defense, Body Press, that combination. Ghost gives me another fighting immunity and an additional spin blocker. And Fairy is just one of those types where it's just like a good type overall. This Pokemon isn't great, but it does give me another Stealth Rocker, and it also has the added benefit of Sturdy, which pairs well with potentially running Metal Burst. And it could, you know, this thing can also do some phasing with Roar, so I kind of like that. I think this Pokemon is going to be a really good value pick, you know, for the 3 points that it cost me. And I'm really curious, what do you guys think of Terra Bastiodon? And with that being said, that is the last Pokemon of my draft. So I'm wondering, what do you think of not only Bastiodon, but all the Pokemon that I drafted? Do you think they synergize all right with each other? I want you guys to try to predict my record for this season, and we can have fun seeing if we are right or not. You know, by the end of the league. So I think I'm gonna make playoffs this season. I think I'm gonna just squeak it out barely. I think I'm gonna go 4-4 out of the 8 weeks that we have here. So with that being said, I want to say thank you for watching. I want you guys to have a great day. Make sure you guys don't forget to check out that description box down below for all those links, and I will see you in the next video. All right, peace.